Greetings, and welcome to the second quarter 2015 IDEX Corporation earnings conference call. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. A question-and-answer session will follow the formal presentation. If anyone should require operator assistance during the conference, please press star zero on your telephone keypad. As a reminder, this conference is being recorded. I would now like to turn the conference over to your host, Michael Yates, Vice President and Chief Accounting Officer. Thank you, Mr. Yates. You may now begin.
Great. Thank you, Shay. Good morning, everyone. This is Mike Yates, Vice President and Chief Accounting Officer for IDEX Corporation. Thank you for joining us for our discussion of the IDEX second quarter financial highlights. Last night, we issued a press release outlining our company's financial and operating performance for the three-month period ending June 30th, 2015. The press release, along with the presentation slides to be used during today's webcast, can be accessed on our company's website at www.idexcorp.com. Joining me today is Andy Silvernail, our Chairman and CEO, and Heath Mitts, our Chief Financial Officer. The format for our call today is as follows. We will begin with Andy providing an overview of the second quarter financial results, and then he will provide an update on what we're seeing in the world and discuss our capital deployment. We will then walk you through our operating performance within each of our segments. And finally, we will wrap up with an outlook for the third quarter and the full year 2015. Following our prepared remarks, we'll then open the call for your questions. If you should need to exit the call for any reason, you may access a complete replay beginning approximately 2 hours after the call concludes by dialing the toll-free number 877-660-6853 and entering the conference ID number 135-98713. Or you may simply log on to our company's home page for the webcast replay. Before we begin, just a brief reminder. This call may contain certain forward-looking statements that are subject to the safe harbor language in today's press release and in IDEX's filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission. With that, I'll turn the call over to our Chairman and CEO, Andy Silvernail.
Thanks, Mike. Good morning, everybody, and I appreciate you being here to discuss our second quarter call. As we sit and look at the global economy and really the end markets, that's the story for 2015. It has been the story, and it will be the story for the balance of the year. When we closed the first quarter, we talked an awful lot about what was going on with the strength of the dollar, the decline in oil and gas, and some challenging overall conditions. And in the second quarter, that certainly continued. Ag has weighed on our overall results along with oil and gas. And in the early part of the second quarter, we saw some slowing in the North American industrial side, specifically in distribution. But on the other hand, we had pretty strong results coming out of scientific fluidics and our sealing businesses within health and science. So the markets and the regions are what I would call a mixed bag right now, but our teams are executing very well. We had really nice performance in operating margins, EPS, and cash flow. And additionally, we closed 3 acquisitions in the last 60 days and retired some European debt that had matured in June. So for the second quarter, we had EPS of 89 cents. That was 1 cent over last year. Cash flow was strong at $86 million, or 124% of net income. Operating margin was an impressive 21.3%, up 80 basis points from last year. Organic sales and operating margins in HST were up 4% and 280 basis points, respectively. Very, very nice job by the teams. We also had a 170 basis point increase in fire safety diversified in the op margin, and we acquisitions of Novatima, Alpha Vivole, and Sidra for just about $200 million. And then finally, as I mentioned, we did retire 81 million euro of European private placement debt that had matured in June. So the way I'd sum it up is a tough overall market with a really outstanding execution by our teams in controlling our own destiny. As we look at the rest of this year, as the second half of 2015, I think we're going to see more of the same. With that, we have made a decision to continue to simplify our operating structure, and we are going to do some restructuring here in the back half of the year. We'll spend somewhere around $8 million or so, and that payback will generally be less than a year. So we should have nice benefit for that as we exit this year and enter into 2016. And I would say we have had a little bit of momentum here, positive momentum in the back part of June and in the early part of July. The industrial businesses that had slowed down, we did see a tick up in the back half of June and the first couple weeks of July.